Hello everybody, this is Aftermath and welcome to my top 5 and bottom 5 games of 2016. Now I know it's slightly delayed and 2016 is over since a few days now, however that doesn't really matter. I still wanted to talk about the best games I made. I wanted to release this video a week earlier, but I was absolutely, completely, utterly overwhelmed with the Christmas special I made, which, I mean, it was worth it. I got the feedback I wanted out of it. People wanted the content perfect. Here we go. 5 top and 5 worst games of 2016. Now, you will see my face quite a lot because especially those people that I put in the bottom 5 games tend to claim videos with their footage used, and I don't really want to donate them any money, even if it's only just a few cents. So we are going to use my face instead of having our videos claimed, shall we? Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's start off right now with place number 5. Now, I need to mention this, but this is a hugely biased list. Don't expect facts here. This is which games I enjoyed the most and which games I hated the most. This is nothing objective here. All subjective. This game could be on the list all by being shit just because I like it. So if you dislike subjectivity, don't watch the video. But other than that, feel free. And the 5th place goes to Steep. Steep might as well single-handedly saved my friendship to a mate long lost. Pop quiz. What happens if you start working freelance during the night and your best friend works during the day? Answer. You don't meet up a lot anymore. It just doesn't happen. Ever since Steep released, however, we make more time happen to meet up more. Just so we can drink some beer and cider, enjoy a nice downhill slide on sea or snowboard, relax while listening to Dippo and Friends mixes and just talk about the world. Or not talk at all. While enjoying our time with that game on his PlayStation 4. And for the 5th worst game of 2016, we have a claimant that likes to take over videos. I don't like you. Anyway, let's talk about the game, alright? And the 5th worst game of 2016 is none other than Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare released as a duo bundle. And I can do this, and I will explain why I can do this in a second. But let me start. The same friend I just talked about is also an avid COD player, and so after thoughtful consideration and his input and my combined 2 hours of being able to give a shit, it will lead me to following statements. So behold, for I will issue an edict. Activision, come here. Come here and shake my hand. No, seriously. You were this year, at the very least, a company that didn't rely or realign its company publicities close to those of Adolf Hitler. However, I want to slap you with a baseball bat just 1 second after for being able to show that you are still the largest void of integrity in the entire games industry, just on a whim because you feel like it. First, you hold COD Remastered hostage in a consumer-unfriendly deal in a game that nobody wanted, and then you have the bloody audacity to sell cosmetic-based DLC in a remake of an old multiplayer game because everybody does it, like Overwatch. Fuck you. Fuck you and everything you stand for. Just saying. Oh, and by the way, just one thing, yes? Bitch move. After obviously realizing nobody wants Infinite Warfare and realizing everybody wants Modern Warfare Remastered, you bundle them together, so you need to buy Infinite Warfare to arbitrarily push your sales numbers higher. Bitch move. Even in bird culture, this is what we call a place number 4 of the best games of 2016 goes to no other but Doom. I mostly don't enjoy playing ego shooters that much. My Overwatch hours and my CSGO hours should be plenty of proof for that. But there's just something about Doom that I love. It oozes metal, and I love metal. It oozes brutality, and I love brutality. It oozes really good level design, an absolute unapologetic, not giving a shit protagonist, a story that doesn't really matter but is still plenty interesting if you dig into it, and raw power. Just raw power. And all of this translates into raw fun. The multiplayer is shit though, don't play that. And the 4th worst game of 2016 is no other but Star Fox Zero. Look at this weird Aftermath guy right here borrowing a VU and buying Star Fox Zero for the express purpose of playing it to indulge in his childhood nostalgia. Hurdy-durdy-hur. This game could potentially be good because it would just be a good Star Fox game. If the controlling of this game wouldn't be completely fucked. It's a rail shooter with one of the weirdest controlling methods ever. Nintendo, there's nothing innovative about it. It's a rail shooter. Make it precise, fast, and flow good. Make it look good, but don't spend 10 years of development hell in coming up with the most inconvenient way to play a game. The 3rd best game of the year 2016 is no other but the game Icy. 2D brawlers are great. I love them, and Icy looks beautiful. The Let's Player will continue this way, by the way, no worries. I love this game to bits, I really do. I hope more like this exists in the future. It makes my heart race and my smile shine brightly. This game melts incredibly well made 2D brawling with stunning aesthetics, and one of the best narrators since Stanley Parable. And it all comes from a single guy in China. In China! A country most known for cheap knockoff games on the mobile market. Was able to have a narrator equal in skill and talent as the goddamn Stanley Parable. Also, I did gift this game to a friend on Christmas. So yeah, I did what you wanted me to do, Mr. Chinese guy. I bought another copy. And that, my friends, is a reference to a scene in the game which I was not too wish to spoil, but feel free to check out my Let's Play Part 2, in particular, to see exactly this scene. The third worst game of this year goes to none other but Roller Coaster Tycoon Worlds. Atari, you're really good at taking old IPs that were really simple and good back on the Atari game console and turning them into utter shit. I get that. I don't honestly know what I expected with that attitude. A good Roller Coaster Tycoon game? After you had the audacity to release Roller Coaster Tycoon 4 as a Farmville style game for mobile, I must have gone mental. Good to know, however, that it's not only old franchises you take a shit on, but also venerated franchises that aren't even that old yet. Roller Coaster Tycoon World is an absolute fucking disaster, and I bet you know it. And releasing it one day before Planet Coaster arrives is a fucking travesty. Are you trying to kill yourself as a company? Are you trying to shun away all friends and each little bit of your reputation? Because it goes downhill for you faster than it does for Konami, and that says something. And the second best game of 2016, in my humble opinion, is the good old Battle Ride. Battle Ride used to be called Bloodline Champions, and I loved Bloodline Champions. Played hundreds of hours into it, and sadly it's died off somewhere. They made a few mistakes here and there, but whatever. But Stunlock Studio decided to try again with Battle Ride. And Battle Ride essentially improves everything BLC has ever done, and every single one of his shortcomings is evened out. It comes as to no surprise as to why it has a growing player base and had a really popular launch, and why it continues to have people play regularly. Mix that fact with a quick round-based 3v3 or 2v2 combat system that won't take any longer than 10 minutes and is solely skill-based, and you got yourself a game everyone can enjoy. In that sense, it is like an old girlfriend of yours that you broke up with because you two were simply too young to appreciate each other. But you met her 6 years later and somehow you still got a hots for her, and she still doesn't really seem to be annoyed. And you enjoy a great time just to find out that she still loves you and spent all those years fixing herself up to impress you once more. This time I will not leave you, Battle Ride, as long as you don't leave me, and if you drink poison, I will go to hell with you. The second worst game of 2016 must be hands down No Man's Sky. Looking at Hello Games' pedigree, I honestly can't believe everybody fell for a second. The studio made relatively mediocre games, and relatively few of them, and then set out to do the most ambitious video game ever created. A full, living, vivid, unique universe. And unique it was, because I never saw something as shitty and monotone as it. If you just want to mine and chill, yes, No Man's Sky is a game which allows you to mine and chill and discover some beautiful things, but even if you condense everything this game has to offer into a single planet, you still have about as much content as the first stage of Super Mario Bros. 3. I wanted more from what you promised, and I got shut on. I don't care if you spent 6 years fixing this mess, it died for me, fuck off. There's so much more as to what I could hate on No Man's Sky, but I don't think I have to. Everyone else has already said everything there has to be. And I never really was hyped in the first place. I never had any expectations because I didn't really trust Hello Games to begin with. Just looking at their pedigree, I knew their staff and what they planned shouldn't be able to achieve it. But they still managed something. They still achieved the impossible. They still managed to disappoint me. Congratulations. It's time for a small honorable mention. A game that got me creatively good, but didn't actually make it on a list, mostly because it's still an alpha, even though there wasn't an excuse for Battle Ride. But also because its role it's filled is better filled out by place number 1 and 5 respectively. And if you're just a tiny bit worse than place number 5, you don't deserve to be in the top 5. That being said, if it would be a top 6, it would be place number 6. I haven't gotten a game that got my creative juices flowing as much as Planet Coaster did. Planet Coaster, you're great, I love you. Please be around in 5 years, and modding community, please never stop modding. So much love for a game, so much uniqueness. I never thought that one could elevate the standard bar set for theme park simulators this much back in the days when RC3 was new. But Planet Coaster did everything right. Can't think of a single shortcoming except its lack of optimization, which doesn't even apply to me. Thank you. You made my days shine bright when they were dark, and brighter days blendingly bright. And now let's switch this up, because I believe that we should end a list like this on a very positive note. Instead of going with the good game first and the bad game second, we go with the bad game first and the good game second. So here we go, the shitty dick reward for anal extreme fisting, and the worst game of 2016 goes to none other than a mighty number 9. Inafune, fuck you. Where did the 3 million go? I know game development isn't that cheap, I know. But the sound design and graphic fidelity of 20 fucking XX is better than this. And this game is done mostly by a single developer for very little money. Secondly, you promised so much bullshit which eventually broke your Kickstarter. You delayed the game again and again and again and again, and then it lacks all flavor and is lacking in everything else too. The stages are boring, the characters are just still images. There's nothing in this game that wasn't there in Mega Man 6 or Mega Man X5. Hell, you know what? Mega Man X5 actually looked good and prettier than this one. It has better sound quality and graphic image quality as well. You had also gotten a lot of controversies about your community, your project, and your Kickstarter and fund management, and that Red Ash debacle. Let's not talk about that. Your trailers were hot garbage as well. I mean, the hot anime fan on prom night is something I certainly won't make you forget for a really long time. And you know what's the worst? I could have forgiven all of this. I'm a Mega Man fanboy. I could have forgiven all of this. If the game would have been decent, all of this could have been forgiven. But it wasn't. There's stupid mechanics in it, like the absorption mechanic, which requires you to beat the bosses by charging into them. That makes them clunky as shit, because the clutch victory that you often had against heavy bosses, such as Yellow Devil, are just simply not in place. The game is horribly slow, at least it feels that way, and totally wrongly paced. It's uninspired, ugly, it looks generic as fuck, it has nothing special about it, and nothing special has been done with it. It's not even a Mega Man game. Maybe not be the worst game made this year, it's competently made. It was definitely the most disappointing and outright bad game made this year. Just no matter how you twist and turn it, this game is just so much below mediocre. It's sad. For everybody, not just for me. With that being said and done, let's get right over to the game that played the most of in 2016 that wasn't Dota or an online game. The precious cinnamon roll reward for the most awe-inducing, amazingness and best game of 2016 goes to none other but Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley. Honestly, I have no clue how it had any right to be more than what it was, but it moved me and made me feel really good when I played it. Huge updates have been done to the game since the release, and I have restarted a few times just because of that. The game is free of controversy, allows you to take things leisurely at your own pace, and perhaps is most Zen experience this year has to deliver. 2 Zen games made it onto my list, one of them won. Stardew Valley helps me feel better no matter how I feel, even if I already feel good to begin with. When it first came out, I was instantly nostalgic, because back in the days I used to be an avid lover of Friends of Mineral Town, one of the first Harvest Moons I've ever played. The developer deserves every single bit of money and pleasure he made on it for sacrificing so much time on this beautiful piece of art. And the best thing is, there's a co-op mode incoming, plus after taking a month-long break, the developer reaffirmed that he will work on the game more with large content updates coming out without even mentioning DLC, and even if it would be DLC at this stage, I'd buy it. No questions asked. He already delivered lots of stuff to expand the game, and the modding scene of this game is thriving too. Stardew Valley is an experience. You play it, you enjoy it, you chill out. It has a bit of everything and does everything right, and hell, it even does something completely unexpected and very interesting aside from that. Because guess what? No matter how beautiful the experience is, in Stardew Valley there's still serious undertone. Some characters don't like it in Stardew Valley till you remember them as to why they should like it. Some characters want to leave the place or forgot why they came there in the first place. And then there's the incoming force of capitalism, which wants to destroy parts of the city to modernize them, which you can counterweight by being graceful and nice to everyone. Or you can speed up with the power of money. The undertone is serious, and Stardew Valley doesn't feel unrealistic in its presentation. Yes, of course it's unrealistic, but I mean that the characters and the little town you live in feels more realistic and more significant than many are big cities and very lots of AAA games this year. I honestly can't even put into words as to why it moves me so much. Just play it, do it. And play it if you need something to chill out a bit, or if you need to relieve some stress. This game should be the one you should be playing. Eric Barone. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you. You made my year good. All around. And that's where I leave it. My name's been Aftermath, and this was the best games of 2016 and the worst games of 2016. Please enjoy 2017. Have a great year. May all your wishes come true. I sincerely hope they do. And I want you to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.